Hello, hello! I'm PJ Scribbles, and today I'll be teaching you how you can design eye-catching floral outfits from reference. I do want to mention that this tutorial is structured in a way that breaks up the important lessons I want to teach you in sections rather than telling you everything at once. So in other words, every outfit shows off a different lesson and builds upon the last. I hope you enjoy, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off by finding some good references. I like to pick my references before starting a project like this because it allows me to find unique and interesting looking photos that I may not have thought to use. Two websites that are my go-to for references are Unsplash and Pixabay. I'll also use Pinterest as well for any extra images I might need for a project, but I usually start here. All the images I'll be using today were found through Unsplash, and they'll be what we'll use to create our designs. So let's start setting up our references. There are many different ways you can set them up, and if you have enough space on your canvas, you can just copy and paste them directly onto it. But I'll also show you some helpful tools that are already in Clip Studio Paint. Go to the top menu bar and hover over Window, then click the option that says Subview. I've enlarged the panel so you can see it better. Now you can click on the folder icon that says Import, and you can add your references right into it. If you're picking colors directly from your reference, you can click the little eyedropper tool and it'll automatically have it selected without changing the brush you're currently using, so every time you hover over this panel and then you move out of it, your tool doesn't switch. So that's really helpful. You can also open your images in a new document and dock or float them in your workspace like this. For our first outfit, we'll be using the bluebell flower. I've already created a base character to work with, and you'll notice throughout this tutorial how each outfit affects the general feel of the character's personality. For this outfit, we'll be focusing on silhouettes, one of the most important things to keep in mind when creating interesting looking designs. Bluebells themselves have very simple shapes. Up on the top of the flower, you'll notice that the general shape goes from thin to thick, and I can apply this in my outfit design. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one copy of the flower. What we're really focusing on is how the overall shapes interact with each other. There are a million ways to create outfits from this flower. You can create a dress, a skirt, a jacket, or any combination of clothing, really. I've made the sleeves of the sweater bulky and round at the end, which follows my thin to thick rule I've applied. The skirt itself also spreads outward, and if you were to draw a line between the ends of the sleeves and the end of the skirt, they would line up perfectly. But what would happen if the whole outfit was thinner? I used the liquify tool to quickly show this example, and you'll notice that the outfit looks less casual and more formal, and the silhouette has drastically changed as well. The skirt fits much closer to the legs, and the sweater doesn't fall out to the sides as much. Small changes like this can completely change your design, so keep that in mind. I also want to take a moment to mention that I've made an in-depth tutorial on how you can speed up your workflow using Clip Studio Paint's fill tools. I won't be talking about any of those tips in this tutorial, so if you're interested, you can check it out in the description below. Here's my finished color piece. You'll notice that I've changed the colors slightly than what I would have gotten from my reference, so don't be afraid to try out different combinations of colors that you find from your reference itself. Now, we'll be moving on to the sunflower outfit. And you know all those rules we applied in the last outfit? Forget them, because now we're breaking those rules. Stay sharp, because for this outfit we'll be working in the complete opposite way as before. Instead of focusing on the flow of the flower to create an interesting outer silhouette, this design is visually interesting inside the silhouette. Think fast, what are the first things you notice from this blacked out drawing? More than likely, your eyes were drawn to the circular object and the folded pant legs because they stick out the most. But what if I were to tell you the most visually interesting thing in this outfit is inside the blacked out area? In this design, I'm using colors to create a place for your eyes to be led to. You'll notice that my color palette only has two main colors, yellow and brown. Since my color palette is so limited, I'm only going to be creating color variations in the areas I absolutely need. The main focus of this outfit is the bow on the top of the corset, but why is it the main focus? I actually have many elements that are used to create lines pointing to the bow. For example, the circles that caught your eyes in the silhouette are used only in an area where I've used the color yellow. Right after the circles, you'll see the lace of the same color, and right after that, there are buttons that lead all the way up to the yellow bow. Even the hands lead to the bow. Because the bow slightly covers the hand, your eyes will automatically be led to it. Even if I flip the shades of the yellow, the bow still sticks out, which is why I've put the most detail in these areas instead of adding any extra patterns or elements that would become distracting. Don't be afraid to keep things simple. Sometimes a limited palette and a few visually interesting elements is all it takes to make an interesting design. So far, we've covered outfits with multiple elements, but what if we just had one? For our last design today, we'll be focusing on colors. I love this mushroom reference for one main reason. The colors already go together. Breaking down the colors in this reference to its most basic form, we really only have 3 main colors to work with: cyan, purple, and green. Often you'll find that photos of nature and flowers have colors that you can use that will already look good together. You can play around with these 3 colors and get many different interesting combinations. For my design, I made purple my starting color, and the blue and green blend into each other to give that glowing effect the mushrooms from my reference have. Thank you so much for joining me. Here's a time lapse for all the designs in this tutorial, plus 2 extras I made using the tips I discussed. I hope this gives you some inspiration to go and create your own floral themed outfits, and with that, I'll see you next time. Bye bye!